Henry Foner has been referred to several times here, and he arrived a little bit late, but he's going to sing a couple of songs for us now, right? Yeah. Henry Foner.
If I can get up to the stage. Okay, I'm not going to use a mic.
Good.
But I have to tell you, following up on what Steve said, I was a freshman at City College. I entered City College in 1935, and I was a freshman when I came in one day and found my fellow freshmen and other students sitting down on the floor in the Lincoln corridor. And of course I learned that we were sitting down in protest against the failure to reappoint Morris. And so I joined in sitting down, and we sat for several hours, and it was quite impressive, and one of the first things I learned at City College. The other things I learned was that when my brothers were named by a man by the name of William Canning, and there's a story there. Canning was a member of the history department with my brothers Phil and Jack, and he didn't have a place to live. And so my parents took him into our house, and he lived in our home for quite a period of time. And my father's reaction when he became an informer, his first reaction was, I paid for his glasses. Anyway, when I went into the Army in 1942, I expected that they would get after me for the Rapp-Coudert committee because, in addition, I had been named by Canning even as a student. And sure enough, early in my stay in the 88th Division, a member of the G2 came to me one day and said, come after we finish your day's work, we want to talk to you. And sure enough, 3 members of the Counterintelligence Corps came into my office where I was working and spent 2 hours quizzing me about the Rapp-Coudert committee and accusing me and my brothers of all kinds of crimes. And then at the end of the 2 hours, one of them said, his name was Barnett, I remember, he said, now listen, Foner, nobody in the division knows that we're members of the Counterintelligence Corps, and we're depending on you to keep that secret. So you have some idea of the intelligence of our intelligence. Anyway, while I was at the college and the Rapp-Coudert committee came along, there was a song called Yes, My Darling Daughter, Mother, May I Go Out Dancing. And I took that to make a parody about the Rapp-Coudert committee. And it went like this. Mother, there's a new committee, yes, my darling daughter, riding roughshod through the city, yes, my darling daughter. They're out to smear our schools, mama darling, with red herrings made to order. Do they think they're sitting pretty? Yes, my darling daughter. They're just reactions tools, mama darling, out to cut the budget shorter. Shall we tell that to the city? Yes, my darling daughter. Oh, mama, oh, mama. What if they should insist on 3rd degrees and our membership list they try to seize in a manner illegal and improper? Just tell them that the vote belongs to Papa. Mother, here's the situation. Yes, my darling daughter. Shall I keep up my education? Yes, my darling daughter. Then I want your advice, mama darling. Do you think I really ought to join the American Student Union? Yes, my darling daughter. The ASU was really a very strong and active organization when I was in college. It was a result of a merger of 2 organizations, the National Student League and the Student League for Industrial Democracy, and it fought very hard against fascism. Early on, before Hitler rose to power, it fought against militarization, but after Hitler came to power, of course, it joined the struggle against fascism. Some of its members went to fight in Spain as part of the Abraham Lincoln Brigade. And and they used to put on an annual show, and remember, this is after Pins and Needles, so we called our show Pens and Pencils. And we put on several shows of Pens and Pencils, and I want to tell you that some outstanding performers performed in Pens and Pencils. One, you may remember the name of Bernie West. His name was Bernie Wessler at that time. Marty Rosenblatt later became Ross Martin, who was a star of Wild Wild West. No connection with Bernie West. And Irwin Corey, and of course Pete Seeger were members of the, I wrote a song called I'm Getting an Effin' Romance, and that didn't get on the hit parade, but it was, but in any event, songs became a very, very important part of our struggles. And I had a colleague, Norman Franklin, with whom I wrote a show, incidentally, called Thursdays Till 9, I'll tell you something about that in a moment. But Norman wrote a song about the Rapp-Coudert Committee. Now, the president of City College at the time of the Rapp-Coudert Committee was a man named Harry N. Wright. And Norman decided to use that name, and he wrote a song called If Right Is Right, and it went like this. I've attended classes in logic, meeting in and out of season, and I've learned in time, in employing rhyme, to employ a little reason. My Prexy tells me my teachers still are academically free. With what's going on, Prexy's tripped upon a logical fallacy. I'll proceed to demonstrate accordingly. QED, if President Right is right, then wrong is right. Dark is bright, and day is night. If right is right, no need to fight for logic or for knowledge. But if right is wrong, then wrong's still wrong. Reason triumphs in life and song. If right is wrong, our guys belong back in City College. Oh, how can you crush an ism when your own ism ain't got the jism to stand the test of a syllogism? If might made right, right might be right, but you can't make right from dynamite, which brings the logical end in sight. Right's emphatically, so fanatically, right is radically wrong. I'm telling you something about Norman. This Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, I'm going up to Connecticut where Norman is in a senior residence, and they're going to show the video of a show that we wrote in 1947 for the Department Store Union. You remember department stores were open one night a week in those days, Thursday. So the name of the show was Thursdays Till 9. And it's now on the internet on Labor Arts, and you can hear the songs and look at the lyrics. And we're going to play, they're going to play the video up at Norman's place in Connecticut, and he and I are going to sing some encores afterwards if they stay around. Well, together, Norman and I did a song about Morris Schappes, and we introduced it at a teachers' union weekend up in Arrowhead Lodge, and that's a whole other story. But at that weekend, Norman and I introduced this song about Morris, and it went like this. When I put on long breeches, Dad pulled his belt in 2-3 inches. Said, son, you still got far to go. Go along to City College, fill your noodle full of knowledge that in this world you'll need to know. Having learned my ABC, I got on to IRT, to 139th and Convent I did roam. There I learned cosines and logs, pulled apart a couple of frogs, and for 4 long years called alma mater home. I went to class in history, but it still remained a mystery why some was poor and some folks rich. When I asked the teacher why, he glared at me like fit to die and called me a good-for-nothing big young upstart. Then to Echo I did go, watched the business cycles grow, saw the 7 fat years swallowed by the lean. When I asked my teacher why, all he did was groan and sigh, said what's been has been, and having been has been. Then in despair I wandered to where literature was pondered, thought I'd find the long hairs mighty dry. I met a Larnon chap, his proud name, folks, was Morris Schappes. Now I praise the long hairs to the sky. There I heard no ifs or buts, saw this teacher full of guts, teaching stuff for which I'd gladly walk a mile. He made learning come alive, set me hep to Shelley's jive, and strange to say, made Wordsworth's words worthwhile. To guys like me those days meant so much that 'twas with amazement I learned that chappies went to jail. If we let guys like Morris go down, then poor freedom stars gonna be glimmering awful pale. So you folks who know the score, realize that in this war, World War II, we need guys like Chappies building unity. Now's the time, so let's not wait. Open wide that prison gate and set Chappies free to fight for victory. If you honor Ellie Siegmeister, please invite me, because Ellie was not only a neighbor, but he conducted a wonderful group of singers who used to perform incidentally at Town Hall and other places, and they did American folk songs that were arranged by Ellie Siegmeister, and I still can sing them. And in one case, I had to go to Springfield Gardens High School in Queens, and I was recruiting students for my fur program at FIT, and I told them that I could get them a theme song from Ellie Siegmeister for Springfield Gardens, which was Springfield Gardens turned around. Yes.
I just want to say that I went to City College, and we were singing City College classes on them.
Okay, that's good.